What's going on, UTU Trust Guardians? Welcome to another episode of the UTU Trust Guardian series. Here's where we chat with team members, investors, partners, and supporters of UTU to learn more about their backgrounds, what they're building, how they're helping to increase trust across the entire internet. Today, we are here with another one of our recent partners, Chris Adams, CEO of Dreamr. Dreamr is an ecosystem of social networking and decentralized finance tools designed specifically to make it practical for people to pursue their biggest dreams and aspirations. We're going to have Chris talk about his background, dig deeper into what Dreamr is, talk about how Dreamr and UTU are going to work together, and much more. Chris, welcome to the show. How are things going, man?
Man, Mike, first, thank you for having me. Very excited to be here and talk about trust and everything that we're building. Things are going great, man. Thank you for asking. And we got the app out. We have record downloads, Dream Machine tours going on through our foundation arm. So things are good, and I'm happy to discuss any and all of it with you.
Nice. Yeah, we'll dig into all that stuff. Let's back it up a little bit to learn a little bit more about your background, both on a personal and professional level.
Awesome. So my background, I'm born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'll be 33 next month. I've been married like 9 years. I have a 6-year-old. I'm a pretty, personally, I'm like, I don't do any of the exciting Las Vegas stuff you think I might do. Like, I'm a very, very boring family man. Like, I work a lot and I go home and hang out with my family, but that's always been the life I kind of imagined for myself. So, I'm happy. Professionally, I've been in tech going on like 9 years now. I always kind of knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I went to college for a little bit for business. I think I lasted 3 semesters before I decided I'd try to just start businesses instead, because I wasn't learning the tools that I felt would help me, do that. My first company was also a tech company. We were basically trying to start like a blog site when like Elite Daily and things like that were popping off back then. Learning that went nowhere. Learning the importance of starting a team, back then, and getting the right people involved. And then I've been on the Dreamr mission since like 2014, 15 is when those ideas really started. And yeah, I'll keep it brief, but if you want me to expand on any of that, I can.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of interesting stuff there. One is kind of the education bit. Right. So just education has like completely changed, right? Especially in tech, right? I mean, you hear these ridiculous stories about Zuckerberg and Bill Gates like dropping out of Harvard and things like that. But like it was certainly certainly college has its role in education, but like talk about kind of what the environment was like when you left college, and like what were all the tools, like what were the tools that you were learning from to learn how to run your businesses? Or were you just kind of just learning on the fly, or did you have some resources that you really leaned on to kind of get that education that you weren't getting in college?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in college, that atmosphere, it was just, I'm an observant person, and I think like Gen Z is in a particularly tough spot because they're very observant. They can see, how certain things geopolitically, globally are like our fault, our previous generation's fault. They don't just, and so when I was in college, like, I've always known that I wanted to own my own business. So my major that I selected was like entrepreneurship and economics, right? Economics was my favorite class. I actually learned stuff there. But everything else was kind of just like, your first couple of years of college is like a repeat of high school, like, but just a little bit more difficulty. And I just was able to quickly realize once I started getting into the business classes and stuff that they were being taught by people who weren't running successful businesses. They were just teaching out of a textbook. And so I always knew that like I needed to learn from people doing stuff. That's how I've always been able to get into things that I wanted to. Like I used to play poker for, my my early 20s. Did very well in that until it became illegal to play online in the States and stuff. But I achieved that through a mentor, right, that showed me what to learn, what to study, how to play. So once I kind of realized that college wasn't fulfilling that for me, especially because like I wasn't on a free ride or anything, I was working and paying for it myself,
Yeah.
that I just knew that this wasn't going to be the most direct path to getting me to my businesses. So I just decided to, rather than invest in school, invest in starting something. And even if I failed, that experience would, I would understand more about from starting and failing at a business, and that costing me even like $25,000-$50,000 than spending that on education to where I don't have that experience in the field. So unfortunately, there wasn't really like a resource or guide to lean on once I left college. And that's something where I'm passionate about building that solution within Dreamr. We've kind of identified 3 pillars, that kind of any dream needs for support. The first one's community, which is why Dreamr looks the way it does right now, very social, about defining your tribe and declaring your dream. The second one's financial, which, as you know, we're going to build financial tools to help people overcome those roadblocks. And the third is education. How do you go about acquiring new skills? And like right now, there's like, online universities and stuff, or YouTube. These things weren't as prevalent back when I was dropping out of college. But like today, what I would do, like advice to somebody that might be in that situation now listening to this, is use the internet. I mean, like YouTube, you can learn dang near anything on YouTube.
Right.
And like, between that and the online universities, all of that stuff is right there for you, without necessarily the long process and expensive process of a university education.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's, well, you alluded a little bit to Dreamr. I just want to make one more point. You talk about, you have a 6-year-old, I have a 6-year-old daughter, and, we're doing the traditional saving, doing the savings plan for her college. But like, I always talk to my wife, I was like, we have no idea what like education is going to look like in 12 years when she goes to college, right?
Right.
She may not go to college at all. She may, there's all these kind of vocational boot camps, whether that's like programming boot camps or whatever, those
Mm-hmm.
very specialized programs. Like you said, there's YouTube, there's so many different resources. There's Coursera and all those online classes.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Mm-hmm.
like I said, we're saving up all this money, but like we don't know what we're going to spend it on, because I went through the traditional kind of undergrad, grad school, and certainly I see value in that, but I certainly
Mm-hmm.
also see value, especially in the tech space, where there's people who are that have not come from traditional educational backgrounds, and they just learn everything on the fly. You being one of them, and successful, more successful than I am, whatever. But like certainly there's more than one way to do it, and I'm just so interested to see where it's going to be in 5, 10, 15 years.
Me too, man. Me too, because it's you know, especially even like thinking about our kids, right? At being 6 years old, we have our first kind of, we're seeing the experiment play out right now. Like Gen Z is like our first generation where they were born and there were cell phones existed, like smartphones existed, right? Like we still had the benefit of like in childhood going outside and not having a phone on us, right?
I mean, they can still do that,
but they don't. It's like they're grown to like that is a big. It's just a part of their world from the jump to
yeah,
where that's interesting. So when we think about Dreamr, and I want Dreamr to be, when it's fully built out, essentially kind of like a Swiss Army knife that you could use that and find the tools you need to pursue your goal, right? Your dream. When I think about that, I think about these kids, and like to me, that platform, like it'll be a platform, and it'll be a platform that's like similar to all the ones they're using now. Like it'll have social elements to it. Like there will be a place that people go online to learn new skills, get educated, and network. And I think that's going to basically take place in, for lack of a better term, like the metaverse. Not like the way, like I think about Twitter, like before the NFT metaverse, like Twitter was just the metaverse, just the internet. And like,
Now
I think
Facebook's
it's
trying
going
to
to
be,
be,
right?
yeah, exactly. So it's going to be like, that, I think. And so I want to be part of that solution to where, in the pursuit of your dreams, if you need to learn how to graphic design or code or anything like that, we plug in resources that are available for those dreamers. And I think, it would be of benefit to really help, tailor education around what kids want to pursue, versus just like a blanket education where they're not really exploring their passions and the things that, are going to actually give them the tools to express their gifts and add value to society. So, in my mind, it looks like that, but that's also gonna work to build on it. But who knows, right? It could be, we might be able to download knowledge in 10 years. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like the Matrix, where they just like plug in a skill,
Yeah.
But it's like, but it's an exciting, what a time to be alive is really how I look at it. Like, this is an exciting time of great change, and the things that we're building can have an impact on that. And
Yep.
that
Absolutely.
excites me.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've kind of alluded to some portions of Dreamr and what it's for, but like, I kind of wrap it up. What's that value proposition of Dreamr? Why is it awesome? How is it going to change things? And like, what was your original reason for starting it?
Okay. Yep. So what Dreamr is really, it's a platform designed to help people declare their dream and start taking practical steps forward on it. And right now, where we are in society, it's even weird sometimes to ask people what their dream is, or sometimes we don't feel comfortable expressing like our true dreams in front of our family, because maybe our parents have other ideas of what success means for us, and things like that. So part of it is culturally, like, I'm trying to decide where I want to start. I want to start with why we started it, right, rather than the platform.
Sure.
And so I've always been a dreamer, and it's something where I've always, just from where I'm from, which is Eastside Las Vegas, it's always felt hard to take that initial step, because I didn't have the right connections. I didn't have supportive people around me that cared about what I wanted to do rather than what they wanted, or thought I should do. And I think that's typical for a lot of people all around the world. And so, there was I was playing poker at the time, and a friend of mine introduced me to the concept of meditation. And I started practicing meditation really just to get like a mental edge at the poker table. That was my motivation. Very basic, not spiritual at all. And I did it though, because I like to work. I like, morning routines. I've always been that kind of person. So I started integrating meditation, and like within 30 days of just sitting on my couch in the morning, my eyes closed and clearing my thoughts, like a few weeks into it, I had what I could only really describe as like a psychedelic experience, completely sober with my eyes closed, like, colors and like feelings, and like my heart bursted open, and I just knew with absolute certainty, that I had a limitless potential within me, and that whatever I wanted to do, I could do it. And I also simultaneously knew that I was not special. This is, every human being has this. This is just the human spirit. And like, I'm fortunate enough to have had a direct experience with that I know wasn't drug induced, that I know was real. And from then, I like, at first, my reaction to that, like, how do I deal with that? Like, I know that I'm an achiever, but I'm looking at everyone around me, and like, nobody's pursuing their dreams. Like, dreams are just something we put on the back burner once we get to a certain age, right? And then if you look at society, we admire and cheer on the people that are out there pursuing what they really want to do. And so Dreamr was born as a way to kind of fill that gap, like, how do we give people a place to dream, right? And then once we started down that road, it was like, what does that look like? At first, we thought it was just social, just connections. And that's, so we built a social network first and beta tested it. And then people got back to us and they were like, look, I love this community. I love what it represents, but without a way to like raise money or earn money, I don't feel like this is a tool that's actually going to help me, pursue my dreams. So
Mm.
that's why it was started. Is I believe in people, more than anything, and I believe in this life we all should have a chance to pursue and create what we really want to do, what's in our hearts. And society is not currently really set up for that. But I think we can change that with the benefits of where we're at with global connection and technology. So what Dreamr is in a nutshell is it's a platform for exactly that, for people to pursue their biggest dreams. And I kind of mentioned those three pillars, but the first thing is declaring your dream out loud. It's a safe space for you to do so. It's positive. Our community, polices any trolls and kind of kicks them out. So declaring your dream, feeling welcome, and building a community around your dream, that's kind of step one. Those connections, those relationships, people who can offer you advice. And then now we're building, decentralized financial tools to give people ways to overcome the monetary roadblocks, get them started, get them funding, for whatever their project or dream is. And then, as I mentioned, we are going to work on the education pillar last, but, we're doing all this in a mobile platform with Web3 blockchain integration. And that's the goal. It's not to be, another social network. It's to be a tool for people to pursue their dreams and achieve them.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I meditate too, and I have not had that moment of clarity that you have. Still looking for that. That's pretty amazing, and it's awesome that you can kind of share that with the rest of the world and what you're building. Yeah, so like you talked a little about the three pillars, and so why is it important that you're building Dreamr on the blockchain and launching the DMR token? What role does that token play, and what role does the blockchain play in your platform?
Mm-hmm. So the role the blockchain plays, once we kind of realized that we needed to also build financial tools into this. Mm-hmm. My co-founder Ashish is from India, so we've always had from the moment we started a decentralized outlook of building something that could reach everyone around the globe, right? So when we were looking at building financial tools, the obvious one is crowdfunding, which will roll out soon. And then, we're building a peer-to-peer marketplace as well, which is like gig economy. I can list my skill as a service. You could hire me. We could trade services, So when we were looking at the best way to achieve this, this is about late 2016, early 2017, blockchain's high. We started looking into blockchain and we realized blockchain was what we needed to build our financial tools on so that we could ensure global access and, some just like true equity there where it's like, we're not doing things at different price points in different regions or anything like that. And anyone in the world, as long as they were on the internet and, our app wasn't banned, like they could access it. And so we wanted that access. Like people in India, I think about a lot of talent over there in the development space, even designers. And they, a lot of times like they're just getting massively underpaid, or they don't have the access to the opportunities. I want Dreamr to be able to solve that because my co-founder's from India and we've built all this together without being in the same room. That's the power of the internet. And so it's just about giving everyone, as many people as we can, access to tap into that. And blockchain is what I think does that in a fair way. And our token is actually a governance token. So we wanted to really get I guess first and foremost, an acknowledgement that like a platform that's social in nature, like the Facebooks and Instagrams, are valuable because the people that use it. They're valuable because we all spend an hour of our attention on there every day between those products. And, we wanted to give our users a significant say in our roadmap, our user policies, and all of that stuff from the beginning. So we've rolled out the token that way. It'll be used for platform governance once a certain percentage of them are distributed. And then, it's really our way of involving our community because we're trying to build a solution for them. So we wanted that to be collaborative and users to have a significant say in where we go from here. So the launch of the token was a significant milestone for us that I'm very proud of because it sets that stuff in place.
Yeah, that was recently, right?
Yeah, just
Yeah,
September 10th. We
yeah.
listed on Bittrex Global.
Awesome, awesome. Cool. So what are you focusing on now, and what's your roadmap for the next few months?
So our roadmap is a lot of product development. So rolling out user wallets within the Dreamr app. We're doing some stuff to integrate NFTs in the Dreamr app too, which I'm excited about. I want to give people ways to create NFTs. So building out our technology roadmap over the next few months, we intend to open up user wallets, build out the social features, so stories and things like that, and then launch crowdfunding before the end of the year. That's the current plan on the dev side. And then on the marketing side, just continue to make dreams come true, and get our name out there so that people see that Dreamr exists and is a place for them to come, pursue their dreams. And all of that, thankfully, has been working very well. We were live. The app was live for a year before we listed the token, and we had acquired about 33,000, active users.
Nice.
And we've added just in the last, the first month of the token being listed, over 50,000 new users. So yeah. So that that token model, we've seen that really activate growth for us, because people can also earn tokens in the app by using it. We want those tokens, those governance tokens, to be seeded amongst our active users, right? People really using the platform. So, so far that's been going great, and I'm excited to just have, continue to execute.
Yeah. Just curious, what were some of the marketing tactics that you use to grow that user base so quickly?
So, the marketing tactics are a bit unique to us, but because of what we stand for and who we are, we've really found a sweet spot since June, of helping someone in need who has like an entrepreneurial dream. So that started with an artist named Richard Hutchins back in June. He was homeless at the time when Charlie met him, who leads our foundation arm. And he had a crazy story about how he used to be a famous artist and wanted to get his recognition back and get off the streets. And we looked into him, and he did have some traction on his art and some notable pieces. And so we made prints for him and launched a Shopify store, and our community rallied behind that, and he sold like $50,000 worth of prints in the first 4 hours. And then we held an LA auction for him, right? And so we saw this start to really convert on the downloads. And then there was another one as we were launching the token. A young man named Matthew Fernandez has cerebral palsy. His dream was to walk. Doctors told he was like premature baby. Doctors told him he'd be a vegetable his whole life. Like amazing young man, super smart. We launched his clothing line. Like his designs, like he has cerebral palsy, so his designs were very almost like jagged, right?
Mhm.
Like not straight lines and stuff.
Right.
But it was so cool because we just took literal translation of them and put them on clothes, and it looked like the streetwear stuff that people are wearing today.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
so yeah, so we literally, it's his own designs that our designers just kind of put on clothes and assisted there. And he sold like $150,000 worth of merch in the first 4 hours. Shopify supported that launch, donated 25K. And the downloads, like the token went live right after that, and the downloads just started going crazy. There's another one of the guy in Colorado Springs. We helped him launch a food truck and raise money for him. So our community is like getting behind these entrepreneurial dreams, and it's not just straight giveaway. It's like more teach a man to fish rather than just leave him to fish. And that strategy for us has been our sweet spot, to where people are really engaging and being inspired by that, and they're like, wow, if that guy can do it, I can do it too. And that's really always our message, is anything like, it's, again, I'm not special just because I understand that I have limitless potential and I'm out here doing stuff. Anyone can do what I'm doing. It's like it's just a matter of believing in yourself and applying yourself and learning the skills and finding those resources, which has always been really hard. And with Dreamr, it's our goal to make that a lot easier and more practical.
Nice, man. Yeah, that's motivating stuff. That's when you see someone who may not be as fortunate as you, being able to do things like that. That kind of gives you a little kick in your ass to
Mm-hmm.
get going. So It's great stuff. You're able to share those stories with the world, and being able to translate that into more success for your app. That's pretty amazing.
Thank you. And it took a long time to figure out. Like I don't want the front. Like we did a whole Dream Machine tour before this one where we didn't figure that out. But it's like that's just kind of one of those things where I've figured out in pursuing a big dream, you just got to keep moving forward and learn from your experiences, and things eventually do fall into place.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So awesome. So can you talk a little bit about our partnership and the role that UTU is going to play within Dreamr and how we're going to work together?
Yes, I can. I'm very excited to talk about this because I love what y'all at UTU are building and the problem that you're solving, because it's a problem that's very significant to what we're building here at Dreamr. And it's, when we were evaluating, right, whether or not to even build on blockchain, one of the risks was the anonymity, or like, the pseudonymity, even the ability to, we've seen so many scams in the crypto space, and like the last thing we want to do is tell people they're in a safe space to pursue their dreams, and then because we've decided to integrate crypto, they get scammed. So that's a problem that is pretty daunting, to be honest. But when I first heard about UTU and what you guys are building, it's really a big solution that could help us there, because with your Trust API and the things like that, we can, and the fact that every Dreamr account has an Ethereum wallet that is attached to it, and then you have, data from off of our platform, we can help our users make more informed decisions about whether to trust somebody that they might be engaging with, in our peer-to-peer marketplace or about to donate to their crowd fund. And then, it can also help us flag things that, may be popping up without our knowledge. So integrating y'all's Trust API is the biggest thing for me, to really help our users make more informed decisions and decide if the person that they're dealing with is trustworthy. And being able to do that by linking, blockchain data as well as data that we provide. I'm very excited about that, especially with the peer-to-peer marketplace, because having a third party to where we know these are verified reviews, that's immutable, that is hugely important and will allow people, again, to make better decisions and not put themselves in bad spots by choosing to trust somebody when they shouldn't. And that's it. Integrating with you guys is saving us a lot of work to fill that stuff, solve those problems. So the ability to rate and review services, I think, is a huge ability that you guys are going to be able to plug in for us. And having that data also feed back into your API for the rest of the people using UTU's Trust API, like, I think it's a big addition to our ecosystem, and I'm very excited to work with you guys on this stuff because it's a hugely important factor for anyone to be able to achieve success on Dreamr.
I agree. I mean, I think just I've said this in the past. I'm an entrepreneur. I've run my own tech startups in the past, and I'm a non-technical entrepreneur, right? So it's like, we're always on the search for those developers and the programmers who can, help us build, right? And they're such in high demand, but like most of us don't know what a good programmer looks like, and who a good programmer is. They can talk a lot about the programming frameworks they know and the languages they know. But for the most part, it's like we don't really know what they're talking about, right? So we just need that other level of, in the teams that we build. And this can go both ways. They don't know who's a good marketer, they don't know who's a good designer, or just in general teammates. So like being able to identify those more easily, and make sure they're trustworthy, and they'll stand up to their word, and they're good people to work with. Is super important in any kind of marketplace application like yours is, and especially ones where it's really it's not going to be I just need this one job done.
Exactly.
Right. It's going to be like, this is my dream, right? I've been thinking about this my entire life. So, that it increases the importance there. So again, like, love what you guys are building. We're super excited. It's such a perfect fit for us. And, we love to see how you guys are building this comprehensive ecosystem for people to really pursue their passions. And it's, like you said, it's not just about finding other people to connect with. It is about those financial hurdles and building that community around it. So yeah, we love what you're doing there, and we were super excited when we started talking and learning more about what Dreamr is and what you guys are building. So yeah, great stuff. So all right, Chris, you ready for the quick fire questions, my man?
Yep, let's do it.
All right. We're just going to ask you 3 quick questions, succession, to learn more about you. Number 1, tell us something unique and interesting about you that not many people may know. We've already learned that you are a poker player. You dropped out of school to pursue these dreams. You've already divulged a ton of interesting information. So let's drop another one on us.
So a lot of people don't know this, but I also have a whole other business in the cannabis space in Nevada, to where we produce and sell products that go to the licensed dispensaries. A lot of people don't know that because I'm focused on my dream, but my dream, as you know, being a tech entrepreneur, my dream hasn't paid me. I'm not taking a salary, but I got a family to support. So I have a whole other business that's thriving. That's a lot different than this one, where it's all about the revenue and all that. And a lot of people in that business that I deal with don't even know that it's my side hustle, really. Because I have like 20 employees over there. So a lot of people don't know that about me. But that's something that has been a huge part of my success, because there's been times where Ashish and I have had to fund Dreamr's next steps ourselves, and we've stepped up and been able to do that because of having a way to generate income that wasn't reliant on our dream.
Yeah. How do you find that balance? Kind of splitting up the time, because I did that in the past as well, working on kind of the longer term tech startup that's not generating any revenue, but I was doing a bunch of consulting to fund the startup. So how do you kind of find that balance?
The only way I'm able to find that balance, honestly, is because I'm also passionate about cannabis and its positive effects, and getting that medicine out to people, to where like I just also enjoy that business. If it was something I was doing like begrudgingly and stuff like that, I don't think I would be happy. So that was kind of, once I found that, like I tried to do some other stuff before, like initially Ashish and I bootstrapped Dreamr from doing development work and design work for other people. And that's cool, but because you're not working on your thing, it's like that was not as fun at all. But it's like, so it's just I guess I'm just really fortunate to have found another business that I enjoy working on, and that is easy for me. It's also vastly different than this one. It's really just numbers focused and cost of goods and things like that, to where and I don't have to, and I was able to set it up to where I don't have to be on top of it and there every day. So I would say that's the thing, is being able to delegate a lot in that second opportunity, but still be in charge of it is the way to. And I don't even know, honestly, because I work a lot, if that's even what's best for people to do. It's just what I've done.
You're enjoying what you're doing, right?
Had to do. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Number 2, if you can chat with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Oh, easy. Nikola Tesla. And that's because I think the man had a lot to contribute to society that didn't make it out of the shadows. And I would just love to sit with him for a little bit and get his thoughts about what's going on now and what he would do if he were still here. Because he was just, the more I read about Nikola Tesla, the more documentaries I watched, the man just didn't think like anybody else. And that's kind of how I strive to be. I like to just, envision a world and see how we can get there rather than deal with what I'm looking at. So Nikola Tesla, cool. For sure.
Yeah, definitely underappreciated. What is something that you believe but few others agree with?
Probably a lot of things. um, Here's one. So I'll go with this. um, I believe we live in an abundant universe.
Okay.
An abundant universe. And what I mean by that is that everything is in abundance. And now I know, trust me, I know people, there's people listening to this, you're looking at me kind of shocked, like, hey,
Well,
there's kids starving, I get it.
yeah,
But what I'll say is this, there's an element to reality where our thoughts and beliefs come into play into how we experience reality. And what I've found is that no matter, like, when I have those mix of ingredients, if I'm focused on the negative, all of a sudden there's an abundance of the negative,
hmm,
right? And if I'm focused on the positive, there starts to be an abundance of the positive. And so what I'm saying is, we
interesting.
can create scarcity and look at scarcity all we want, but because that's where we're putting our attention and it's an abundant universe, we're going to get more scarcity. And so I think about things like that, especially when things aren't going my way. It's like, okay, where's my focus? Because wherever my focus is, I'm going to create abundance there. Because I think it's just been my experience with life. Where you put your time and attention, life will show you more of that. And there's a lot of evidence, even when people go buy a car, right? All of a sudden they see that same car everywhere on the road where before they didn't see it. Like there's an abundance like mechanism to this that isn't
Interesting.
I don't think fully understood yet. Hopefully science will get there. I think quantum physics, we're starting to explore how consciousness interacts with reality. But that's something I believe that I think probably few people know.
Yeah, that's the no, no. So my original kind of face that I made was that when you said that we are living in abundance, my first reaction was like, it's true, but we are like not. We are, what's the word I'm looking for? We're taking that for granted to a certain
Mm-hmm.
extent, right? Like, and
Mm-hmm.
you see, you just see like how climate change and all that kind of stuff is kind of us taking the humans taking the abundance of what we have for granted, right?
For
So
sure.
that was like my initial face, like
Okay.
it was like, yeah. But then
Oh
you
yeah, I
kind of,
mean, look at America. I mean, look at how much food we throw away from the grocery stores every day when there's people hungry. Like,
yeah,
sure, you're
yeah,
100%.
yeah. But then then you took it down another path, which is super interesting, is where when you kind of change your mindset and you kind of dedicate your attention to certain things, that's when you see more of that certain thing. And
Yep.
that's pretty deep. That's pretty interesting. That I'm gonna put some more thought to, because it's funny. This is such a silly example of it, but like my daughter's name is Maya, right? And
Hmm.
I had not known any Maya. At least I couldn't remember any Maya, right? Until
Right.
we've named her Maya. All these Mayas started popping up in our circles. That's a stupid example, but like it's kind of
It's
interesting
totally
how,
relevant. Totally relevant
right? Like,
example.
I mean, it was just weird because it had never really occurred to us before until we had a Maya in our life, and now we have
Yeah.
many.
And like, people get weirded out at Facebook because they'll be thinking about something and all of a sudden it's popping up on their feed, right? And I'm like, is Facebook reading our thoughts, or is our attention play something into this thing we call reality, right? And like, there's a once you kind of tune in, like, but think about it, like, there are entities in the world that understand how powerful our attention is, right? That we wouldn't
Yeah.
have advertisers paying millions of dollars for a 30-second Super Bowl commercial if they didn't understand how valuable people's attention was.
Yep.
And so it's I think, just a matter of time before we as collectively human beings realize our attention is powerful and start to be more conscious about where we place it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully less attention on scrolling through feeds and more attention on
Pursuing dreams, my
pursuing dreams,
man.
right? And building a better world. So awesome. Hey, Chris, that was a lot of fun. Deep stuff there. You know, you got the gears in my head cranking. So yeah, tell us where the UTU community can learn more about Dreamr.
Okay, so I got two websites for y'all to check out. There's Dreamr, spelled DREAMR .app, APP, and then our blog is dreamuniverse.org.
Okay, awesome. We will post those links in the video notes below. All right, Chris, thanks again for coming on the show and telling your story. Trust Guardians, we hope you enjoyed that interview with Chris Adams from Dreamr. Please hit that like button if you did. There's going to be a lot more interviews with our partners and team members, etc. So make sure you hit those subscribe and notification buttons so you don't miss them. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you soon. Chris, awesome chat. Thanks so much, man.
Thanks, brother. Thanks again for having me.
Same.